Greg, lead us, Master Sherpa, into Nippon Sangoku episode 12 season finale.
Yes, we are here. We've made it to the season finale of Nippon Sangoku, episode 12. And they had a cool intro, different from the normal intro where it's summarizing everything up until this point. And then it starts with Sune delivering the withdrawal, kind of what we saw at the end of episode 11. But all the generals are like, fuck that, let's fight. And Sune is like, oh shit, Aoteru, you were wrong. But Kaku rolls in and says some cool shit. And Ryumon is like, okay, everyone, let's retreat. And they're like, fuck yeah, retreat. Ryumon's arrow injury is still plaguing him, and Kaku is worse for wear. And Ryumon is like, Kaku, you stay and rest. And he's like, no, I'm coming with you. But Ryumon is like, you'll die. But Kaku rebuts with Ryumon's own words of not living up to the life you've been given. And we've finally found someone who could take my place. I think we all saw this coming, right?
100%. We did say it before, didn't we? His glasses are thick.
Yeah, he's like, -9.
Well, I assume that they don't have like a lot of really good glasses makers still in this world, so maybe that was the thing.
Ryumon is like, Tsune, you're the rear guard, and you heard the plan from Aoteru, right? So right now, only you, me, and Kaku know what it is. So do your duty, then fall back. It cuts to Wajima's army headquarters at 9:35 a.m., 10 degrees Celsius, and they hear of the retreat and discuss potential retreat paths, and they're playing right into Aoteru's plan. But Wajima is like, what if it's a feigned retreat? And Hei's son, new strategist, is like, Denki has the emperor by the balls, and Denki isn't one to retreat. And the goal is to retreat to Kanegasaki so Denki can come with reinforcements. So we all know that this is incorrect. It was predicted by Kaku that if they did do a regular retreat, that they would have picked up on it, which they did. And the Imperial Edict was the right play to get them to fall into the trap. So we kind of see all of the cards falling now, and it is pretty interesting. Wajima is like, oh shit, so this is a tactical retreat to deceive us, but also Ryumon by Denki. And Hei's son is like, it's the only thing that makes sense. Who else could be pulling the strings? Such a feat is inconceivable. And if we let Ryumon reach Kanegasaki, we may never have a chance to finish him off. And if we strike now, we can kill Ryumon and Kaku, and then force the Yamato forces into the winter general strategy. And you need to strike down Ryumon here with your authority. And then we have a flashback to Hei. So they were like onto it.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously the ace in the hole here is Aoteru, because they're not aware of Aoteru yet. They're not aware of his strategic prowess.
Yes, but also, like, they're assuming that because Kako and Ryumon are in the same place, that they're not able to create a strategy like this because they're worried about their lives. And they were looking for the Imperial Edict to make that call to retreat so that, like, yeah, you're totally right that they don't assume Aoteru, but Kaku is the one that kind of created this in the first place and put the idea in Aoteru's head.
Correct. And if Aoteru wasn't able to convince the Emperor, then Denki would have come with reinforcements like normal, and they would have been able to do the winter general plan like they were assuming. So they were kind of right, and they're like almost thinking too much ahead, where they're like, Denki's trying to fuck everyone. Well, it's not too much ahead. Like, they're correct in that assumption that Denki's trying to just like fuck Ryumon and everyone and just be like the emperor of Japan or whatever. But yeah, they're just missing that single piece of Aoteru getting the Imperial Edict portion of it. And then I don't know if Kaku made the ambush plan. I think he insinuated it with like the frog thing, like they said in episode 11, where, like cosplay frog girl. Aoteru read that as set up an ambush. Kaku didn't necessarily like tell him how the ambush plan should go, but that they should probably do an ambush of some sort. And then I think Aoteru created the whole car thing.
Knowing the lay of the land, understanding where everything is and what they could retreat to. Like, Aoteru's got an incredible mind for the history of Japan and trying to use it to his advantage. He does a great job. And we can't, I mean, it's really hard because obviously there's so much like alluding to that Kaku does. We can't assume that he is like this incredible strategical genius beyond anything we've ever seen before. I think that there's like a lot of writing that happens that I don't know, maybe we just have to assume Kaku is this god of genius nature, god of intelligence. He's rolling
20s on
constant
intelligence
20s
rolls all the time.
with 20
Yeah.
intelligence and 20 wisdom. He's obviously wearing something that boosts his wisdom to 18, and then he definitely took, what is that ability score feat at level 5 for sure.
Yeah, this man doesn't miss
He
a
doesn't.
20. But Wajima says the main army will join Hibi's army and pursue Ryumon, and then she flips her hair and smiles at the dudes as sexy music is playing.
The music in this scene, so good, by the way. So good. I loved this whole entire exchange. Oh, beautiful piece of cinema.
But then it cuts to Hibi's forces chasing Yamato, and Sune is at the rear, and he gets an arrow shot at him, but then he does a backflip on top of his horse and shoots some dude in the head.
Sick as shit you've
And
ever
now
seen.
we're at the ambush
Come on.
point with Wajima.
Greg, did that not go so hard? Dude's like got the arrow drawn, and Sune's just like riding, kind of looks back for a second. He's like, all right, he's going to shoot now. Duck, fucking flip off the horse, and then just blast this dude in the brains. Crazy. I love this show.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean, like,
And I just like how everyone else was just like, "Grr,
Dude,
grr."
I wonder if like there was a dude in the back line that was like, did you just fucking see him do that? That arrow would have killed him, and he did a flip on the horse and shot that guy. Dead square
No,
in the
he's
head.
probably like, man, if I was up there, that arrow would have just hit Dumont in the back of the head. Like, oh man, that guy sucked.
Anyways, yeah, it was so good. I wish when they did the counter of like when they're all running, it went from 12,000 to 11,999.
Yeah.
That would have killed me. I would have been so happy.
But they're at the ambush point with Wajima and her forces of 15,000 and Ryumon, Kaku, and Sune with 2,000 total. And Wajima advances and the trap is sprung, and Wajima can see her rebellion unravel before her eyes. And I like this. They didn't have a long, drawn-out scene. It was just kind of assumed the trap was sprung, the ambush worked, the plan went into action, and Sei lost.
Other than people getting hit by cars.
These scenes were important because these were all of Wajima's commanders. So, like, all of her commanders basically died, like, protecting her, and she was, like,
Yeah,
the
she
only
got
one
thrown
left.
off the cliff and was saved to a certain extent. A lot of the commanders died. Not the guy with the dreads. He lived.
Yeah, I just like how they didn't really, like, beat a dead horse. It was like, plan worked, we're done. And then we kind of move on to the rest
Yeah,
of
we
the
get the
story.
aura farm shot where Kaku's like, yeah, it was sick what I did. And Ryumon's like, perfect time for a cigar. We're not in the middle of a war at all.
But the narrator says that the Sei Western expedition with 70,000 troops was shattered by Kaku's stratagems. 10,000 Sei soldiers, along with the commanders, died protecting Wajima, and the battle would later be known as the Ota Scrapped Car Ambush. Wajima was captured and approved an immediate ceasefire and withdrawal as the remaining 50,000 Sei soldiers retreated to their homeland, but another commander and over 100 Sei soldiers refused and continued to resist, but were put down by Nagamine, and this all brought a truce between Yamato and Sei. It cuts to Yamato returning home, and Kaku reminisces about the Toryumon and if there were any good candidates as he's coughing up blood, and wonders if Tsune and Aoteru can make Japan into a peaceful world, one without war.
Did I not exactly call this, by the way?
I thought we both said he's not making it past the finale.
Yes, but also the Ukyo Tachibana reference of him having the long hair right now, not tied up, tuberculosis, coughing up blood.
He just didn't have a sword, and he didn't cut people up.
Yeah.
If he had a sword, even if it was for ceremonial purposes, I would have been like,
Right?
"Hell yeah."
Yeah. It would have been 100%. I missed it by 1%.
One without war, one that he could never bring about, and then he dies. In Yamato, year 60, spring, at the age of 32.
So he died a month later when they're all back near Osaka, correct?
Yeah, so they were just riding back victorious from war, and then he dies like on the road, like on the way back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even make it back. But it cuts to year 42 of the Buo calendar, year 60 of the Yamato, 9:25 a.m., 16 degrees Celsius, in Odawara, Buo, with first emperor of Buo, Hojo Momokuni. And he's like, damn, Yamato predicted our move. And the prime minister and strategist of Buo, Musashi Kami Judo, is like, I'm old as fuck. And his translator says that a young man persuaded the emperor, and Hojo is like, damn, when they mobilized, I wanted to attack. Oh, well, I guess call off the warships and make sure Yamato doesn't find out we were going to fuck on them.
Also, they have warships?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, what? Okay, so here's my thing. Two things I really loved about this episode. They took their time giving us a lot of information about the Sei battles. They focused. They hyper-focused. They didn't also, in the middle of the Sei war, they didn't focus anything on Buo. They didn't overload us with information on, like, they gave us a little bit of what they thought Buo would do, but it was still about Yamato and Sei. And then Buo is now introduced. Now we're going to have a potential three-way war. We're going to get the full scope of what's going on. You get the full scope of everything. And it's introduced at great pacing. And I appreciate the shit out of these writers.
Yeah, they did a good job. And it's nice to kind of, in this final finale episode, that they kind of tie those loose ends together. Because Aoteru did say, he's like, if we send reinforcements, we're going to get attacked by Buo. And then it circles back here where the guy's like, shit, like, he knew all along. That was my plan. And then we get to see like the Buo Nation a little bit here, where they look like they're in better shape than Sei. The fact that they have warships.
Look at this building. They're all in suits. Like, they're all just like, they look like if you could equate this to Cyberpunk, Sei is the street kids, Buo is the corpo, and then Yamato's the nomads, right? Or you could say Yamato's the street kids and then Sei's the nomads. But Buo's definitely corpo.
Yeah. So I would be in Buo because I was a corpo slave.
Were you a corpo rat, you piece of shit? How fucking dare you?
I wanted to make it as close to real life as possible, so that's why I chose.
If you wanted to be as close to real life as possible, you would have been a street kid.
No, I would have been a corpo slave because that's...
Oh, you mean your role in real life?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I was V.
Yeah, I was V as well. And
no,
I was
only me. I'm V.
My bad. Who am I in this situation? Am I Jackie Wells?
Yeah.
Fuck. This is great. Thank you for avenging me, Greg.
Yeah, you had a sick motorcycle too.
Hell yeah. It was pretty sick. And a cool, like, got a spiritual tarot card reading girlfriend.
Yeah, and your mom was pretty nice.
And
too.
You know what? Wait a second. You might be onto something. I am Puerto Rican. He's Mexican, I think. You might be onto something, Greg. I don't like where your head's at. All right, go ahead.
But the Buo Emperor is like, well, meeting adjourned. But then he stops at a young man, Himehito. And he's like, hey, I heard you guys share the same Japan-era ancestor as the Yamato Emperor. And I thought you were related. But just so you know, don't go joining Yamato and found a new Japan. And Himehito is like, no clue what you're talking about, Em.
Oh, that's crazy, man. What are you talking about? You just go do the weird walk over there, buddy. Leave me alone.
But it cuts to Yamato, Osaka. And there's a funeral for Kaku and everyone who died during the Sei Western expansion. Then it cuts to 1 month later, and delegates from Yamato and Sei gathered in Osaka for the Naniwa Peace Conference to set post-war policy. And it was agreed that Kaga province would be demilitarized and a new territory created from part of Kaga, the International Peace Organization, quote, the Nippon Federation, unquote. And the two nations would jointly govern it, and this marked the first attempt at a peaceful resolution, and the fate of Wajima was postponed until another time.
First of all, I was like, I'm watching this and I was like, oh man, this show is so good. You get like a stressful season, you get a little hope, but you get a little buo. And we're only 50% away through this episode. And I paused it and I took this screenshot right here of the Emperor and Wajima. And I was like, I should know better. I'm watching an anime right now. Nothing can stay good the whole time. This is episode 12. This is the end of the season. What the fuck am I thinking? And then, Greg, continue.
Well, I guess I don't know how war works. I'm not a strategist, but basically, like, your army and your dictator just got like fucked on by Yamato. And the only land you're taking is this tiny ass little piece that you then cut in half. And then you're just like, hey, we're going to manage this together. I just thought you were going to take over the whole northern part of Japan.
I mean, I think obviously Sei is like, at this point, Wajima's like, all right, I got beat and I lost a lot of people that I really cared a lot about. And my people are going to be the most important part. Because at the end of the day, she's making the same exact call that the coup she set up was going to make. She's taking the same knee and saying, all right, I get it. Y'all going to fuck me up. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was all in the vein of peace, because if you wanted to like have the two nations work together, you wouldn't like take over the other nation, which is what Denki wants, because he wants unconditional surrender so he can do whatever he wants to Sei. But basically, Sei and Yamato were both independent nations, and then they're going to govern a piece of territory together, see how that works, and then, you know, maybe join hands and then be united. So like completely taking over Sei wouldn't make much sense if you were going down that path, but that isn't the path that Denki wants to go down. But it cuts to Tsune and Aoteru just chilling. And Aoteru is like, I think walking this path of uniting is the surest path to peace, even though it will be hard. And Aoteru has some fleeting memories of Saki, saying if he puts his knowledge to use, peace will be possible. But then there's a banging at the door, and it's a messenger telling them to report to Ryumon immediately. And they received word that Wajima was attacked and assassinated. And the Yamato soldiers and 2 Taira dudes with her were killed, and the assailants were wearing Sei military uniforms. And then I just have a note here that says this was Denki's plan while he was playing chess in episode 11.
We finally see what Denki really put forward, and what an insane ploy. Like, I didn't really think about like, oh, what's Denki's options now that his plans are kind of taking, you know, Ryumon's definitely going to be hailed as a hero for this plan, basically single-handedly winning the war. And then now, dude, what a fucking Denki.
Yeah. All right, let me finish the notes and then we can talk about it. But as Sune and Aoteru walk, they talk about what happened, and it doesn't make sense to Aoteru. And how were Sei soldiers in a Yamato territory, and they knew Wajima's escort route, and he realizes it was Denki. And then it cuts to Denki talking about his sweet assassination and how they fooled Sei soldiers into thinking they were assassinating Ryumon, not Wajima. And then Denki has the messenger dude killed, I assume to tie up loose ends. And he says it's his turn now. So he just completely blocked that teleport mix-up by JP. And he's like, it's my turn now. No stealing my turn. But the narrator says that same day, Denki had Ryumon arrested for the assassination incident, and the Borderland Corps went to the Emperor for a pardon, but Denki sealed off the palace and imprisoned 34 Borderland Corps members, including Aoteru, under the same charge as Ryumon, and then blamed it on the Emperor for siding with Ryumon, and Denki took full control and demoted the Emperor to a figurehead. Denki then sent the remainder of Sei an ultimatum, but Sei said they weren't involved. Then Denki nullified all the peace agreements and declared war on Sei. It cuts to Tsune reading the paper that Sato fell without any effort, and Denki killed all the Sei civilians basically, and Tsune says he'll rise to the top. And then it cuts to Aoteru in his cell, and he says if they don't change the rotten core of Yamato, then nothing matters, and he'll be the one to start. And that ends the Nippon Sangoku Sei Western Expansion arc. And that is the end of this season of Nippon Sangoku. So here, I think that Denki was able to make this work because everyone is just like, yo, man, this is fucked up. Like, nothing lines up. Nothing makes sense. Kind of what Aoteru was saying. It's like, how did Sei know that they were going to be over there? Something smells fishy. But Denki has so much influence within the Yamato government that he basically just sweeps everything under the rug. It's just like, no, guys, that's fake. And they're like, all right, I guess you're right. And then he has enough power to be able to demote the emperor.
By fear. He's ruling by absolute fear because he has so many people that are loyal to him that are probably making like whatever currency, however much money they have. They're probably so well fed and so taken care of in a world that is literally falling apart that, I mean, how do you fight against it?
Well, we will find out next season.
It goes so hard. This show's so good. I'm so glad we watched this, Greg. This was my favorite show of the season.
Yeah, it was definitely, of the 4 that we watched, this was unarguably the best.
Okay, of all that you watched this season, was there anything better?
No.
Damn. That was so fast, Greg. If you look back and you're just like, no, this was the banger, dude.
You know what? I mean, I want you to make a disgusted face and show me your underwear. Like, was really close to dethroning Nippon Sangoku.
Shut the fuck up, Greg. How fucking dare you?
No, just looking real quick. This was the best anime that I watched this season. And it was kind of like a breath of fresh air, right? It's not like a bunch of shonen power-up fighting. No one's going Super Saiyan in, I think, the regular Super Saiyan tense. I think you can say that like Aoteru definitely like flexed his brain and was doing all sorts of crazy shit. And I don't know. I just think it was nice. It was just a different change of pace. It was more strategic than action. Like, it allowed you to stretch your brain legs and it allowed you to think, but it didn't make it so complicated that you were like out of your element.
Right.
I think it was a very easily digestible yet suspenseful anime. And I think one that also, I guess, wants you to flex your psychological legs is like ReZero. But I think they make it so complicated that, and I already know this, right? I already know that ReZero is not for like the average anime watcher. Like, you need to be like hyper invested into that anime for it to make any sense. But that's like an example where they're like setting up all of this stuff. They're like putting little breadcrumbs within the episodes. But to me, ReZero, you got to be in like VIP booth to even understand what's going on. With Nippon Sangoku, they make it accessible for everyone and it's easily digestible. I'm sure there's some people out there that probably wanted it to be a little more hardcore strategy, but I think for the average watcher, I think this totally works out. It makes sense. They wrapped up all of their breadcrumbs that they dropped for us if we didn't predict it ourselves. And with that being said, what did you rate this season of Nippon Sangoku?
In my fantasy kitchen of a brain, honestly, if I were to give Nippon Sangoku, I wanted to watch more. I want more. And I'm so excited they got a season 2. And you know me, I'm finicky sometimes when it comes to shows. I would say that this is an 8 or a 9. I recommend this show I've already recommended this show to a lot of people.
The ultra military strategy style shows aren't necessarily like my cup of tea, but I think they made this in such a way that anyone can enjoy this. Even if military strategy isn't like what you're into, they made it entertaining enough across the board where there was enough like comedy elements in there. I shouldn't say comedy, but you know, like to like lighten the mood style elements in there. They had the serious elements. They had like the hard chess strategy moments. They give you the closure of this whole plan that they've been like setting up for the past 4 episodes came to fruition. They had a conclusion. Any anime viewer could, I think, pick this up and find some sort of enjoyment out of it. And for me, I did like the animation a lot. I don't think it was perfect.
No, of course not. But it's also not a shonen where it's like focused on the animation being like super dope, right?
But it was like, still good and unique.
It was still really good in a lot of areas where it, like there was a scene I forgot to bring it up. I think the walking scene with Aoteru and Sune, this scene where the movement of them is very realistic, like the hair swaying and everything was very much, it felt like they took more time and effort with this scene than most any other scene in this whole episode. And it's showing such a, it's like nothing's happening. They're walking towards something, but it shows that they care about this moment so much more. I mean, obviously it means a lot to the future, like that Aoteru and Sune are walking with purpose. And I think that they like take liberties in such different directions than most animes do.
Yeah, I gave animation a 9, and just thinking about it, I probably should give it a 10. I don't think there was a time when I was watching this show that I thought that the animation detracted from the show, like, at all.
Or failed. It didn't detract where it was like, oh yeah, you guys are trying a little bit too hard here and this is needless. Or the opposite, which is, okay, you guys should have probably did a little bit more there, taking some time with that. You know what I mean?
You know, I might actually, let me change that. Yeah, so I thought the animation was a 10.
What did you rate the story?
Story was a 10. Character
Okay.
development was a 10.
Okay.
My own personal feelings, I gave it a 9. Like, again, this isn't necessarily like something that I gravitate to. I'm not a big military show guy unless it involves like Gundams and mechs. But then at that point, it's not like a military show anymore. It just has military elements in it. But this is like a true flex your brain, like military strategist style show.
This show was really fucking cool, man.
And
I really enjoyed it.
That's the only reason why it has like a 1 point off, is because this isn't necessarily something that I normally gravitate to, but I mean, I did enjoy it. I would recommend it. So yeah, I mean, this basically gets like what, a 9.7 something or 9.8 something. So this was almost close to perfect. Yeah, it only gets 1 point off for just me. It's just me.
Yeah, it's just you. Almost a perfect anime if Greg wasn't the way that he is, raised in the way that he was as a corpo rat.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a corpo rat. I actually felt that way. Like, you know, when you leave some of those corporate jobs, you have to like turn in your badge and you like, no one fucking cares. They just throw all your shit into a box or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I went the corpo route, because I'm like, this feels too realistic.
So, Greg, we all done with Nippon Sangoku, unfortunately.